Welcome back. We're going to quickly review the five finger strategy for finding the main idea. Please trace your hand on a paper now. That's all you're going to do for now is trace your hand. It should take no longer than 20 seconds. Please take the time to do so now. All right. The main idea, just a reminder, is what a passage is mostly about. You can look at titles and headings. You can look at pictures, first and last sentences, clue words used over and over, and you got to ask yourself, what is the author telling me? We're going to practice this with three different texts over here: Europe in the High Middle Ages, The Reasons for the Seasons, and Dream March. So, in the center or the fleshy part of the hand, this text is mostly about. That comes from this slide right back there. That's what the main idea is. Take a moment to write this text is mostly about. Nice work. Now, notice how you've got five fingers and you're going to be putting four details in an interesting fact, but you could do five key details if you wanted. Let's see. You would go around the room. Notice how you've got your paper and pencil with you. You might look here at corner 5 and look at that picture at corner 4 and corner 3 and corner 2 and corner 1. And after you find these five details, you might look at them all together. You go, oh, water cycle, winter, spring, summer, fall. I bet this is the reason for the season. So this is mostly about the reason why we have seasons, right? You can't get that unless you get all the details, right? If you just get the seasons and you miss the water part, you won't have an accurate idea. So you got to make sure you put your full hustle in every time we do this activity. Let's try it again. This one's a little tougher. Look what's going on here. Look what's going on in corner 4, corner 3, corner 2, and corner 1. That's right. So Europe in the High Middle Ages, right? All five fingers each has a corresponding detail to go with it. Now, usually it won't be just pictures. Oftentimes it'll be a text too. Take a look at these different texts in corner 1. Free at last, thank God Almighty we are free at last. Or when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we'll be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 details. And notice how there are little underlined portions in each. You need to choose one, just one of those underlined portions, and to write it in the corresponding finger. So let's say you get all the details and you had to choose not between whether this was Dr. King or not, but which speech by Dr. King is it? Well, you'd have to get all those details, and even then it still might not be enough. You might have to think about what's going on in class as well, right? It could be I've been to the mountaintop. It could be from the Strength to Love speech, or it could be As I Have a Dream speech from the Dream March. Which could it be? Well, you make a choice from each one. Which one do you think is more important? Is it the mountains of New York or the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania? Which would you write there for the index? Or maybe for the middle one, black men and white men, or Protestants and Catholics. Was Dr. King known for trying to join the Protestants and Catholics together, or was he more known for trying to get justice for black men at the oppressor's hands, being the white men, right? It's a dream march, and you would have one of these two underlined details on each finger. You wouldn't have free at last and thank God Almighty. You would just have free at last. You wouldn't have when we allow free to ring every village and every hamlet. You would have just one or the other, just one or the other, one or the other, one or the other, and that would equal your main idea. This is what the sheet will usually look like. You'll see a paragraph and two underlined portions to choose. For the pointer, for the thumb, two underlined portions for the middle, two underlined portions to choose from for the ring, two underlined portions to choose from for the pinky. And then at the end, you would say, what is that text mostly about based on all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 details? You've got to make sure as you're going around that you're on task, right? Talk that's about something else is only going to be a distraction, and it's not what you're here for. You got to read the entire paragraph, not just the underlined things, or it won't work out so good. You got to keep it moving, no bunching. If you all bunch together, oftentimes that leads to not being as focused as you could be. Bring your paper and pencil. Don't forget that you just get a chance to stand up and move. You've got to bring your materials. And don't walk with a student who you know is failing. If there's a student who's more likely to trip and fall than write something down that day, you need to make sure you just let that student get right with themselves and their God. You need to get right with the main idea. That's you, not your friend. Don't walk with your friend. You walk with you. All right. Good luck. Go get them.